Greetings and welcome return to all. Look, if you're watching this right now, you should be aware of something crucial. Tonight's tennis match in the United Arab Emirates wasn't your typical one. What we witnessed was nothing short of a cultural earthquake, despite the fact that it was a WTA 1000 event and a first-round qualifier. No, the headline that you clicked on, it wasn't meant to be clicked. I really do mean it. Recently, Dubai, a city renowned for its luxury, skyscrapers, and capacity to house the world's most powerful individuals, was totally surpassed. It's a positive kind of shock, which is the issue. The kind that draws attention to a whole sport. The Dubai Duty-Free Tennis Championships are one of the highlights of the women's tour. The early rounds of these events are usually rather moderate. There are corporate boxes, your VIP spaces, and a few ardent tennis fans scattered around. Maybe a few polite cheers here and there. It's civilized. It's quiet. It is, indeed. After all, it's tennis. But tonight, they totally ignored that rulebook. The stadium sounded less like a tennis court and more like a rock concert or a World Cup final. The reason behind all of this is Alex Eala, a 20-year-old phenomenon who is turning Dubai's strict courts into her own world. The stories that have come out of the incident are utterly absurd. Experienced tennis journalists, tournament officials, and even rival players watching from the sidelines are saying the same thing. Thousands of people had assembled to support her, and they weren't just tennis fans, they were her people. What was meant to be an away game became a home game because to the massive, passionate, and well-organized Filipino population in the United Arab Emirates mobilizing to a degree that is unusual in individual sports. They added Sunday final excitement to a Tuesday night qualifier. This is the Eala period, people. And it's not coming, it's already here. We have been whispering about it, tracking her development through the Rafa Nadal Academy, seeing her breakthrough performances in 2025, and looking at the rankings for the last 2 years. But tonight, the boom began and the whispering stopped. When Alex Eala on the court to play Hailey Baptiste, the decibel levels reportedly reached levels often reserved for Federer or Nadal in their prime. 3 stars, flags, the Filipino sun, and faces painted on railings waved from every part of the stadium. The cries were relentless, rhythmic, and loud. And we need to start by establishing this important context. This is important because tennis has failed to find its next it factor in the post-Serena era. Please understand that our current champions are exceptional. Iga Swiatek is a machine, and Irina Sabalenka is a powerful force. But who is attracted to this kind of culture? Who makes someone who has never seen tennis buy a ticket and wait in line for 3 hours? Tonight, Alex Eala answered the question. She proved that she is more than just a potential talent. She is a sensation. The startling news is now. Eala took a step ahead. She has made it to the round of 32 in Dubai. But the way it happened was spectacular, chaotic, and ultimately a reflection of the extreme pressure she is under. In the first set, she defeated American Hailey Baptiste 6-4. Yes, that was a true struggle, a grind. Eala had to overcome an early disadvantage, throw off Baptiste's rhythm, work those angles with her lethal lefty forehand, and take advantage of the spectators' intense passion. Then the second set's drama started. Due to an abdominal injury, Baptiste was forced to withdraw when behind 0-1. To put it another way, the game itself ended poorly. But what happened next? Anything but boring. A depressed mood is usually the outcome of retirement. As the crowd disperses, people begin to go toward the exits. Not tonight. When the umpire announced game, set, match, the crowd erupted as if Eala had just won Wimbledon. Think about that for a moment. Second-round qualifying draws crowds that are similar to those at a Grand Slam final. That kind of support is what we're dealing with. The tournament's organizers are in a frenzy. They come to the realization that they require additional security each time Eala performs. Larger spaces are needed. They have to prepare for big crowds. This is what we call the rock star effect. In sports, the term is sometimes used somewhat ambiguously. A rock star is someone who has a little charisma. Watch the video though. And trust me when I say that I wish I could show you. Fans are actually contacting you. Barriers so she could see her towel. They are shouting her name during transitions. As they try to manage the influx of individuals fighting for signatures, security seems to be extremely overworked. That's not just Shea Stadium craziness on par with the Beatles. The establishment is going through it as well. Jasmine Paolini, ranked 8th in the world, Eala's next opponent, has already acknowledged that Eala is a formidable tennis player. As a player ranked 40th in the world, she admitted that she was unfamiliar with the surroundings. The tournament director, Sulla Talak, has publicly recognized the power of the Filipino people. He understands that the roughly 1 million Filipinos who reside in the United Arab Emirates, including the 3,000 employees of Dubai Duty Free alone, are more than just statistics. They are an army that creates a distinct environment, buys tickets, and wears merchandise. So why is everyone in Dubai so incredulous? Because they were unaware of their hunger. Failed to see the pride of a nation in need of a world-class tennis player. We saw that in boxing with Manny Pacquiao. When he started fighting, the world stopped. In tennis, we are seeing the first glimmers of the same devotion. It's absurd. Anarchy is present. It's beautiful. Over the next few minutes, we will discuss this evening in great detail. We're talking about more than just forehands and backhands here. We're exploring the psychology of this fanbase, examining the financial implications for the WTA, and looking ahead because Alex will play a player ranked in the top 10 in the upcoming round. You won't believe what they have planned for Jasmine Paolini if you thought the audience was rowdy tonight. Put on your seatbelt. The Eala era will not exist. It's taking over the Middle East, one game at a time. It's here, proud and boisterous. The tennis world has seen that this girl is too big to ignore, and the thousands of shouting fans behind her? Impossible to ignore. Let's begin now. Being conscious of the infrastructure behind this occurrence. To completely comprehend what happened in Dubai, we need to examine the system that underlies this hysteria. It's easy to say that a lot of people came, but that doesn't adequately capture the event's mood. We need to look at these people and the reasons why the Eala eruption was triggered by this particular competition. Dubai has a unique atmosphere. Isn't this a global crossroads? But in many ways, the Filipino expat community is the lifeblood of this metropolis. For many years, they have served as the cornerstone of nearly every sector in the Emirates, including services, engineering, and healthcare. But when it comes to sports, they have primarily been spectators. Yes, they would watch NBA games and boxing matches. But tennis? Tennis appeared to be a gentleman's sport and a luxury of the wealthy in Europe, with little bearing on the daily lives of Filipino workers abroad. Alex Eala entirely changed that equation, but she has given an apparently distant sport a personal face. When those fans visited the Dubai Duty Free tennis stadium tonight, they weren't just come to see a sport, they were there to see representation. They were going to see their own narrative, that of a young woman working abroad, trying to establish herself and overcoming obstacles, reflected globally. That story has a deep resonance. It creates a bond that transcends mere passion for sports. It encourages loyalty. And that loyalty is the direct cause of this rock star behavior. Instead of counting the amount of inadvertent errors Eala makes, the audience rides every emotion with her while she plays. When she missed a first serve against Baptiste, there was a collective groan in the arena that was more like shared concern than disappointment. When she broke service with that cross-court forehand winner in the first set, it was more than just yells, it was a release of tension. It was visceral. The local organizers were unprepared for this. They are used to the occasional standing ovation, intermittent applause, and polite clapping. They are not used to this raw emotional connection between the athlete and the spectators during a first-round match. They have never seen anything like that. The real tennis match. Let's set aside the enthusiasm for a moment and talk about the real tennis, though, since Eala had to play a challenging match. Hailey Baptiste is a serious danger. At number 39 in the world, she is just one place ahead of Eala. She has experience as well as weaponry. On paper, this was a coin flip. The opening set was an intense battle from the start. Eala got off to a slow start, and with all the anticipation and buzz, who wouldn't? She fell behind 1-2 early on. A year ago, Eala could have caved in to that pressure. She might have gone too far and tried to be the hero too soon. But this Alex isn't the same. This is the version that has been tested on the tour. She persisted. She raised issues. With that lefty spin, she opened the court and dragged Baptiste wide before clawing her way back to break for 3-2. That intermission was crucial. There was a noticeable shift in momentum. When she remained calm and finished the set 6-4, the audience found out. She came to compete, all right. Here, too, we must acknowledge her mental fortitude. When hundreds of people are shouting your name every time you touch the towel, it's very difficult to play your best tennis. Distractions could result from it. It could be too much to bear. Yes, but Eala was the one who channeled it. She used that energy as fuel instead of letting it become a burden. Baptiste's forced retirement at 0-1 in the second set was unfortunate. We never want to see a player hurt, so we hope Haley gets well soon. From an analytical standpoint, nevertheless, it shows something about Eala's intensity. She requires her opponents to put forth every ounce of effort. The physical strain of that first set and the constant animosity most likely contributed to Baptiste's breakdown. Eala doesn't give you free points. Instead, she grinds you down. When the on-court pressure is coupled with the constant roar from the fans, it creates an unpleasant environment for any opponent. What does the word era actually mean? We frequently use the word era. But what does it really mean? Is it just hype, or is it grounded in reality? It appears to be pretty real based on the trajectory. Examine the numbers. Recently, Eala entered the top 40. In her career, she is currently in a high-level position. At this time last year, she wasn't even among the top 150. That is an amazing rise in the world of professional tennis. She's not a junior prospect anymore. At the tour level, she is a major threat. The Eala era also represents a change in power in favor of Asia in women's tennis. Southeast Asia has been unusually quiet when it comes to elite singles talent, while Li Na from China and Naomi Osaka from Japan have been at the forefront for years. Eala is bridging a significant geographical and cultural gap. The WTA is in dire need of a star who can open up the market in Southeast Asia. Eala's posts have more interaction than some of the top 5 players, according to social media engagement data. Additionally, they examine ticket sales for competitions in locations like Dubai and Abu Dhabi, as well as potential future Asian swings. For the sport, Eala is a gold mine. She already has a loyal, affluent, and itinerant fan following. Proof of concept is provided by the occurrences in Dubai. It proves that if you put Eala on a show court, you can expect a spectacle. It attests to each sponsorship contract she has signed and each wild card she has been granted. Grand Slam triumphs are certainly significant, but the Eala period encompasses much more. She wants to represent tennis to 600 million people in the region. Paolini is anticipating the journey ahead. Let's talk about what will happen next because the plot is about to get much more thrilling. Alex Eala's rendezvous with Jasmine Paolini is the real litmus test. Jasmine Paolini is not just good, she is extraordinary. She is a Grand Slam finalist as well. She is ranked 7th in the world. She is fast and dependable, and she has performed on the biggest stages in the world. This match will disclose Eala's precise place in the hierarchy. The unexpected thing is that Paolini knows what is about to happen. When she dismissed an underdog at her press conference, she didn't sound like a favorite. She sounded submissive. She sounded suspicious. Paolini will feel like the villain when she walks onto that Dubai court since a top 10 player's comment that an opponent is great for the sport is code for, "I know the crowd will be against me." It's not because of who she is. Rather, it's because she's blocking the Filipino narrative, even though she's actually one of the most likable players on tour. The setting for this round of 32 match will be challenging and hostile. Eala has a great chance here as well. If she can stay with Paolini, or, dare I say it, beat her, during this fury, she becomes even more credible. Here, a victory depends on more than just rankings. It's an affirmation that she can topple the ruling class while carrying the weight of a whole nation. We also need to consider the economic and atmospheric effects of Eala, which Sulla Talak, the tournament director, formally acknowledged. When a player's draw is formally acknowledged by the event organizers, their treatment changes. Eala is probably now getting prime-time slots and center court billing. The machine is starting to work for her since it understands that she draws attention and money. Oh, the psychology of the audience. The heart of this story would be lost if I didn't take a time to study more about crowd psychology. The idea of bayanihan originated in the Philippines. In general, it refers to collaboration, community cohesion, and working toward a shared goal. It embodies the spirit of a village banding together to raise a house. We saw Bayanihan tonight in a Dubai tennis arena. These supporters were more than just ticket buyers, they were powerful individuals. They wanted to improve Alex's mood. When she lost the first set, they continued to converse. They grew louder. They tried to help her. This is rare in individual sports. Tennis is typically a lonely island. Out there, you're by yourself. But Eala is never alone. Particularly throughout the Middle East, Europe, and North America, where there are substantial Filipino diasporas, she always has a home court with her. This is a tactical advantage, by the way. Opponents are shaken. It has an unconscious impact on umpires. It gives her an extra 5% of adrenaline when her legs are tired. The amazement expressed in the headline actually refers to how powerful Filipino fandom may be for the rest of the world. We've seen it in beauty pageants, basketball, and boxing. Although the tennis world is at last realizing this, they are still figuring out how to handle it. Security in Dubai apparently told onlookers to sit down and remain silent at one point. But how can one halt a tidal wave? You can't. Letting it crash is all that is required. Let's take a moment to talk about money because the business angle beneath the Eala era exuberance is a real business story. This will benefit clothing sponsors, tennis organizations, and the events itself. These pictures from Dubai are invaluable. Hailey Baptiste is a great player, but on a Tuesday, he doesn't pack a stadium in Dubai. Alex does, indeed. As a result, Eala will have the right to request appearance fees. It suggests that her endorsement value is rising sharply. It suggests that networks will be interested in her pairings even in the early stages. She's become what we call a franchise player. The NBA has franchise talent. Around them, you put together a team. Your tennis tournament's marketing revolves around them. Eala is becoming that kind of athlete. This is the best marketing hook for the women's draw at the 26th Dubai Duty-Free Tennis Championships in a very long time. They'll make the most of this unanticipated windfall. You can expect to see Eala's face on every billboard in Dubai for the rest of the week. Her longevity is attributed to her financial might. Even if she is having a hard time, her capacity to sell tickets guarantees that she will get wild cards. It guarantees her opportunities. She has earned her spot via her performance, ranking in the top 40, defeating Grand Slam champions, and going far in competitions, so she doesn't need charity. The marketing appeal is just the icing on the cake when it comes to a truly amazing present. Final thoughts on tonight before we wrap up this in-depth conversation. I would like to offer one final analysis of what tonight in Dubai represents. We often get caught up in the tedium of the long tennis season. Nowadays, players roam from city to city and live out of suitcases while playing games that often blur together. Occasionally, though, a moment emerges from the chaos that compels us to stop scrolling, pause what we're doing, and focus. One of those events was what we saw in Dubai, a rock star greeting for a 20-year-old, thousands of loud admirers, and the bewilderment of the organizers. It was a proclamation. It was a declaration that this sport is being revitalized by new energy and that the old guard is changing. Alex Eala achieved something quite remarkable tonight. There was more to her victory over Hailey Baptiste than just a tennis match. She turned a tennis arena into a temple dedicated to national pride. She proved to the world that the card's biggest draw might be an Asian lady. She proved that even if you are not in the top 30, you can still be the most beloved person in the building. But let's be clear. There is still work to be done. The fanfare and rockstar title are fun, but the tennis gets harder after this. Boisterous fans won't deter the world's 8th-ranked player, and Jasmine Paolini is ready. She'll bring everything she has. This game is the real litmus test for the Eala era. Will a dominant performance come from the frenzy? Can Alex do something she has never done before by harnessing the crowd's enthusiasm? Can she surprise Dubai with both her celebrity and her play? I believe that something genuinely amazing is just getting started. The shock we had tonight will soon become the norm. The notion that when Alex Eala appears, the public goes crazy, the arenas sell out, and the media swarms will become commonplace. For every fan who traveled to Dubai tonight, you set the bar high. The WTA will talk about the environment you created for the rest of the year. And for Alex Eala, the stage is yours, the lights are blinding, the noise is overwhelming, and everyone is looking to see what you do next. This has been a comprehensive analysis of Alex Eala's shocking, exciting, and undeniable rise in Dubai. You won't be able to resist the excitement around the rock star's entrance if you like sports, emotion, or stories of underdogs becoming heroes. Thank you for viewing this analysis. We'll talk about every facet of the upcoming conflict with Jasmine Paolini, and we'll be present to observe whether the shockwaves endure.